Authenticity is what it Who she is who she is. Human beings, their psychological drama and their existential reality. Past, which is memory, present, and future. Future is your fantastic imagination. What most people refer to as me, this is who I am, is either their personality they're talking, their character, thought and imagination, body and mind, worldly possessions, together with the identifications, the ID badges they carry around, they have formed, such as their family, identify with church, country, school, work, etc. All of which boil down to part and parcel of their psychological drama. Mostly things they are able to change. Yeah? Your existential reality never changes. Reality never changes. So, drama, yeah, it's not real. It's things you can, you can add and change. Inside of you is your spirit, which is you, who you are at the core. Everything else, including your body and mind, lie outside of you. Whereas at some point, your body and mind will return to the dust, you will continue to exist in the spirit realm. So reality never changes. It is who you are. God is real. Everything about the created universe is. Creature meaning created. That's what it means. You're a creature, and there are all other living creatures. You, creature meaning created, includes you. A created creature and the other created animals and things such as trees, etc. Both men and you, who are human beings, and all the aforementioned are real. Whenever you refer to your personality and character, they're psychological purely. All you have to do is be present. That's keeping it real. Yeah? You don't need a personality. There's no stronger way other than to just be present. Is not how God is. Does God have a personality? No. Yeah? Is God real? Yes. God is everywhere. That's how God is, a presence. That's all you have to be. You don't need a character. You don't need a personality. Though you can, in the theater arts, we have what we call characters. So, like hats, we change them to suit. And, yeah. And you can have several personalities. You adapt, you change to suit. But what I'm saying is, there's no stronger, way other than just to show up and be present. If the color of the room is white, you become white. And you only make interventions when necessary and when they are meaningful. You're most powerful that way. So whenever you refer to your personality and character, they are psychological. All you have to do is be present. That keeps it real. For you are a spirit being. Be a powerful presence so that, like I said, if the color of the room is white, you become that. Truth and reality are related in that truth is something you come to realize. Whereas it was always true, reality never changes, and will always remain true. It becomes when it's you becoming enlightened and realize, come to terms with it, and then you go, wow, when it dawns on you, and then you that's how truth and reality are related. Yeah? In that truth is something you come to realize. And that's when, so truth and reality are not things that you read in a book or hear from authority figures. No, it's what comes naturally. Time doesn't travel, by the way. The past, present, and future are three dimensions of this, three layers of the same event. Yeah? This tape that I'm doing now in the present, I drafted in the past, and when I'm done, it will, when I'm done, when I did it, when I was drafting it, it was future. Now I'm doing it in the present. When I'm done, it will be past. Past, present, and future are three layers of the same event. Time is on a steady 24-hour rotation. So for convenience, a system of time zone has been established. So whenever it's daytime in Belize, it's nighttime somewhere else, like Japan, evening in other places like Germany, afternoon somewhere else, as the sunlight is making its 24-hour rotation, around the globe. You cannot manage time. You can only manage your actions. To do in 1 hour what it may take a person 10 hours to do, so as to be most efficient. So being caught up with their compassionate memory, which is the past, and their fantastic imagination, which is the future, is what causes most people to cheat themselves of spending their daily allotted karma. Karma simply means, choices that you make. You are the choices that you make. So when you get caught up with you're thinking about reminiscing your great grandma and so on, you're wasting time, because that time is already spent. You can't do anything about it. What you need to do is live in the existential reality. As well, when you're there, becoming preoccupied with maybe out of fear with what may or may not happen in the future, you're also wasting time. You need to live. All you have is not time. Time is on a steady 24-hour rotation. You come with a limited time span. In Belize, the average is 70 years. So all you have really is energy. So you must live with full intensity. Don't half step. The past is already gone. To be there thinking of great grandmother of the past is in the present is a waste of time. You can't change the past. Your memory is old. That's what you recalling. You can't create a single thought from memory. And instead of drying out of your memory box, having your mind tell you what to do, which is that's what that is. You should be thinking. Thinking is an activity. Yeah? You don't just let your mind run. If that happens, you're not in control of it. You're having a mental diarrhea. You have to think to create thoughts, generate new ones. So becoming preoccupied, mostly out of fear for what may or may not happen in the future, such as whether you are going to suffer in hell, which is only a story. That's only a story, That's a waste of time. What you ought to do is address your fears by reconciling with death, so you can live strong, fearless. Who and what? In the beginning there was only darkness, also known as nothingness. Nothingness with potential, which is also known as space. And divided into two parts. This created universe is only 5%, of total existence. The rest of 95 is nothingness, darkness, or space, or otherwise called space. So you can refer to darkness, nothingness, and space as either everywhere or nowhere, which are terms you can only use for God, by the way. Yeah. Because you can't use a GPS, they don't have coordinates. You can't identify on a map. After a very long nap, God awoke and made a very long roar, equated with a bang, which was more like a series of bangs, the banging activity, which would be the beginning of creation. That is proton and neutron, which over time started the first atom, which then became the first cell, a single cell, which is the beginning of life. All the created life of creatures and things. Creation and physicality. Well, the created universe only comprised 5% of total existence. Like I said, God is nothingness, who at a point in time becoming a consequence of creation. Time is a consequence of creation. God brought creation into being. Creation is only God holding it, the 5% in the palm of his hands by the force of gravity. Yeah, that's what it is. Gravity is also a consequence of creation. The nature of the created universe, well, everything in the created universe comes with boundaries. Like I said, time and boundaries of time and space, including you. Your boundary of space is your height and your shoulder width. Your boundary of time is your lifespan. Yeah, an average of 70 years here in Belize. So the nature of time causes everything in the created universe to go around in cycles. The earth goes around the sun, the moon goes around the earth, and it's only because your mother's periodic cycle is in sync with the cycle of the moon, the 29 and a half days, that you and I were able to be born. Cycles are good only, in a limited way for fishing, farming, and calendar making and the like. With cycles, people are able to make predictions of the weather and so on, which is helpful. Therefore, cycles are repetitive, and that's the thing. So there you can make predictions using cycles. That's what it means to go around and around. So one would have to break a cycle to reach an ultimate destination. So cycles are not good for when you're trying to focus into your career to mobilize up. God is uniquely everywhere and nowhere, both referring to the same thing, that which cannot be measured. For they have no coordinates, like I said, no boundaries, likened to the nature of the spirit. It's boundless. You are a spirit being. Yeah? And that's how you can access the entire universe. The universe opens up to you when you adopt a universal identity. So you can grow and expand limitlessly. The reality of human beings spanning the two realms. Well, a human being is the consequence of God making a zygote, choosing from among millions in an ejaculation. The particular father's sperm cell, which together with the mother's egg cell then cause you to come into being. So it's a spiritual process. You are the breath of God. You are God breathed. You are a spirit being. One who, like I said, God breathed. Like an onion, you came with five layers. One inside the other. Outside, the outermost, the physical layer, the mental, then you have the energy, the transient body, the ghost a lot of people see when they do not properly dispose of the human remains of their deceased relatives and the like. And then the spirit at the core. That's the fifth layer. Well, obviously it's non-physical. The spirit is non-physical. The human being is one that yearns for fulfillment. At the back of his or her head, she has this boundary setting right here, the reptilian brain. The dog uses it to pee on every down-like post, going I, me, my, setting boundaries. So that's the nature of the reptilian brain, to set boundaries. It's territorial. So you have it, but you're supposed to elevate beyond basic survival levels, and use your intellect. The human being is the product and peak of evolution, given his the intellect, which the intellect despises boundaries. It wants to grow and expand limitlessly. So except that the intellect, which, like I said, is your tool for exploration, and because it wants to grow and expand limitlessly, and you cannot grow and expand beyond boundaries. So therefore, the only way for you to grow and expand limitlessly is for you to bring your body, mind, and spirit under the same roof. Change governance, from governing with your body and mind, and governed by your spirit. Yeah? And then you're like a vehicle on four wheels. So you're steering with your spirit, your body and energy system are your two back wheels, and your thought and emotion at the front, which you constantly need to bring into alignment, because your body, your thought and emotion, one moment they're saying, I want to live. The next moment they're saying, no, I don't want to live. Every time you get angry, every time you get bitter, and so on, you're saying no to life. You are creating a poison intended for someone else, I agree, but you are the one drinking it yourself. What kind of sense does that make? So you have to be consistent. You can't. Your body and mind tend to be controversial. Can't make up their mind. Yeah. So you have to have all four wheels: body, energy system, thought, and emotion going in one and the same direction, and that is how you will see your way. Trying to become fulfilled through your physical body and mind, one promotion at a time, is impossible. Your heart is only full until it encounters something or someone more appealing as to your mind. Even if you crush all the libraries and pound them into your head, there will always remain something more for you to learn. Therefore, to become fulfilled, you've got to abandon your physical body. This by dispossessing, all your attachments and your identities that you form, and you've got to go through an explosion, wherein you go through the stages from rigid, I am this way, I was born this way, to flexible, so you no longer say I'm either a day or a night person. I like this, but I don't like that. No, you become flexible, and then you go from that stage to vapor, and from vapor to the realm of nothingness, which is the realm of the spirit. So you've got to explode to go from the physical realm to the spiritual realm. The hope, and I'm winding down here, the hope advertised by church organizations is purely psychological, like a dog chasing after its tail and never being able to catch it. Hope is something that is tangible. Those able to market and successfully deliver on hope are politicians, i.e. the hope of owning your home by age 30, hope of having a robust economy, hope to have affordable education, hope to have good roads and bridges infrastructure, hope to have good national security, whereby we are safe because the police are on the beat, and so we can sleep peacefully at night, and hope that we resolve this dispute with Guatemala, which is around the bend. By December, we should have a result from the International Court of Justice, a positive one for Belize, because it's it's a zero-sum game. It's either yours, or the territory is either yours or it's not. God is real. Everything about creation is real. Reality is what comes naturally. If you have to invent it, then it's a darn lie. For you to be authentic is to bring your body, mind, and spirit under one roof and commandeered by your spirit. A spirit floats. So becoming ecstatic is orgasmic. That's essentially how the feeling you get, and puts you in a drunken state of mind, being unable to work. Hence the reason a devotee to spirituality, to be functional, only carries a tinge of ecstasy all day long, and only on occasion become full-blown ecstatic. Additionally, a devotee to spirituality is always seeing with clarity, and is a person who is grounded, in touch with the gracious divine who provides him with that supernatural power. That's what grace is, power outside your own, so you could successfully overcome whatever it is, and so that's how you do this. So you are an eternal spirit being, okay? At the core, your body and mind will go back to the dust, but you will continue to live in eternity. So, able to span 100% of existence, you're able to do that, being fulfilled, and only when you die, assuming your mental acuity remains intact, then you become full-fledged, because you're supposed to be growing and growing, as every day becoming the best version, a better and better version of yourself. Therefore, let it be so. Ito lahat ya, ga, kaya sisa ya, ayo.